Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89, and here is my little review for Lower Decks Season 4, Episode 4, Something Borrowed, Something Green. It was an okay episode, nothing really bothered me for a change. Your basic A and B story. I didn't find the A story that interesting. I actually enjoyed the B story more because it focused on Boilerman and Rutherford. And I have a little bit of an animated crush on Rutherford at the moment, and I'm kind of shipping them a little bit, except I'm like the animated Boilerman, but it doesn't matter. There's a scene, basically they're sharing quarters, and they're adorable, and they get along so well. Their biggest problem is who waters the bonsai tree. So they go to the holodeck to resolve that with a Samuel Clemens program, but they both show up as Clemens, and then they're talking like Clemens, and I don't know, it's kind of funny, it's kind of odd, and eventually they end up advising Captain Freeman to use that with a Chalnov. Is it Chalnov? Yeah, Chalnov. Who's one of the aliens from the episode Allegiance with in Next Generation, where Picard was like trapped in the room with all the other aliens. It was the scary one with the big hair, and it doesn't really work. But he ends up eating the bonsai tree, which they show him, and I don't know, that works. And yeah, they lose their tree, so they're a bit devastated. So then they decide to use a different program now, which is like being Mozart or someone playing a piano back in the 18th century or whatever. So it's a nice little way to end the episode, and I really was more interested in that story, but that is the B story. And some people complained that it didn't really serve the A story, had nothing to do with it, but I actually preferred it, so I was okay with that. Now the A story is Tindy being invited to her sister's wedding back on Orion. So we see Orion, but I was really disappointed with the world building. We saw a lot of their culture in that, but I didn't find it that interesting. I always imagined the Orion homeworld would have been far more interesting and more green. It just seemed really like basic planet stuff. Lower Decks is good at reproducing what we've seen in Star Trek before, but I don't think they're really that good in creating new stuff. So we just sort of see them sort of being pirates, even though they sort of resent being referred to as pirates. But there's a bit of confusion, I think, with the Orions, thanks to Tindy, because she seems to be ashamed of being an Orion, and she's sort of yes, I think some of the things that are very typically Orion she downplays or doesn't like as though they're not. Well, not everyone's like that. Well, maybe you're not, but it looks like everyone else in your race is, or at least on your planet. That's the culture that they seem to embrace. So her sister appears to have been kidnapped, which I think is part of their wedding ritual, but the timing was off or something. So she's supposed to be looking for her. I wasn't that interested in this. So okay. There's a scene in a bar where they're fighting, but they're using with this girl. But they're using like bugs in a drinking game. But it's really like a sparring game between them. But then you don't really understand. You get a sense that she was someone and that she had a destiny. You find out later when she does find a sister who's hiding in a shipyard where they used to play on the starships. That she sort of left her with a lot of the responsibilities that she should have had in the family. She was supposed to be an assassin or something, and yeah, it's just not that. I didn't find it that interesting. Star Trek is a science fiction show, not just a personal drama about these people. So I'm sort of looking for the bigger story, and I didn't really find it. So it's only really if the characters are particularly interesting to me that I actually enjoy it, like Rutherford and Boilerman. But I can see how other people are reacting to it. Like I watched a couple of reviews, and Jessie Gender is just so in love with this episode because she's managed to project herself onto the characters, and she's convinced that Tindy is actually trans. And I'm like, well, there's allegory you can read, but that's it. But she's like, no, she's trans, and I'm sure, I just hope they actually have her, come out sometime. I'm like, okay, I get. As a gay, I would read onto things because there wasn't a lot of actual gay characters and representation in media, but I knew that I was reading into it, and it was allegory for most of it. Some of it was, genuine queer, where things were written to be read as gay by people because they wanted to make the character gay and couldn't. But I don't think that's the example of Tindy. If they wanted to make her gay or trans, she'd be gay or trans. So That was weird. But yeah, so they get married. Everything goes well. I assume they fix Mariner's shoulder because she got like, I don't know, like 4 knives thrown in her shoulder during the episode. But yeah, I mean, I love Rutherford and Boilerman. I love their scenes. They're adorable. It was kind of interesting seeing the Orions, but I was disappointed by how ordinary their world seemed to be. I mean, the politics was interesting. They played around with that a bit. But yeah, it was an okay episode. Nothing really bothered me. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.